Hi everyone, welcome back to Arranging with Judy. Today we're going to make a centerpiece in this ceramic bowl. It's actually for my neighbor because they did some really nice things for us and all they wanted was a centerpiece. So I got this ceramic bowl from the flower shop. It's deep enough that I could put a block of foam in it if I had to, but I'm trying really hard not to use foam. It's terrible for our environment. And so I've used some sustainable things. I took a long piece of grapevine that Devin and I went out and cut earlier this morning, and I wrapped it around inside this bowl. And then I just tucked a piece of like a ball of chicken wire in on top of it so that the chicken wire does not rest on the bottom of the bowl. That way the stems can go in and also be underneath the chicken wire. So when we cut the grapevine, we also cut some buttonweed. We cut some teasel. I gathered up some pine cones. I have several different varieties here. I have some fennel that I got from the herb garden and some artemisia. I got some wild Bradford pear out in the yard that's getting a really lovely shade right now. I got some funny little, seed pods and some lemon basil from the herb garden, and also I got some rose hips that I'm going to tuck in. Also, from the flower shop, sometimes when you want to do something really special, you could go to the grocery and you could get flowers for at home and for around, or for a nice, sweet little hostess gift. But when I want to pick out exactly what I want, and I want it to be a high quality, I buy it from the flower shop. I am a florist, but I really do find that I get a better quality. I pay more for it, but it's worth it. So I got some really gorgeous Gerber daisies with a dark center that I thought would be kind of fallish looking. And we have a local grower of hybrid lilies, and that comes twice a week to the flower shop. And I bought a couple stems of these lilies, and then I got these really absolutely fabulous free spirit roses. We get a standing order of these at the shop every week because they're just so luscious. They aren't what you would consider a garden rose, like the David Austins, but they have a really big petal count, and they have a very slight scent, and they're just gorgeous, and they just last forever. So, well, not forever, of course, but for a long time. So I'm going to put together an arrangement for my neighbor's table. They wanted a fall arrangement, and one thing I wanted to show you quick is if you get pine cones, these are from a white pine, these are a white spruce, and these are an Austrian pine. And if you just gather them from outside and you want to put them, in here, you need a stem on them. So let's see, I had some wire around here someplace. You can just put them on a wire. You just take and slide the wire in between the cone layers, and then bring it to the back and give it a couple twists. And then you have it at least on a wire. Then if you wanted to, you could wrap this wire around a stick, and then you could put it in. I don't think I'll need a stick for this, but all of the varieties get wired about the same way. See, right down in here, and you just pull it through in between those little layers and then twist it. So there you go. Let's see, is there anything else I need to tell you about? Well, what I'd like to do with this arrangement is I'd like to make it sort of clustered with the colors and the textures, rather than, sprinkling the roses all around and sprinkling the Gerber daisies all around. I'm going to do little segments that will have those flowers and those textures in them. So what I think I want to start with is maybe just a tiny bit of foliage around the outside, just so that I have that covered and I'm not going to disturb something that I'll break the petals off, when I go to add them. So I'll just tuck these in so that they're in the water, and some of them will be in the chicken wire and some of them might be in the grapevine to hold them in place. But this gives me a really nice, you know, foundation to put my leaves and my flowers in. Okay. And then I might add just a tiny bit of this Artemisia, just to have kind of a foundation in here. Oops. I'm not sure about their decor. I've never been in their house, so I don't know how big their table is or anything, so I'm going to try and make this sort of compact because they might not have a lot of room. I don't know. And it would be easier to have, you know, a smallish arrangement than to say, oh my gosh, where am I going to put that thing, you know? And then maybe just a little bit of this lemon basil. It's almost done, but it has a nice fall feel to it. Maybe just a couple pieces in here. So, oh, it smells good. It'll last for a while. And then the seed pods will be pretty in it, even if the leaves get too fall looking, you know. There's not much left out in my garden. I don't know about yours, but it's, fall is here, and it was really dry here all summer, and I just don't have a lot left. But it's fun to mix things that you buy, you know, at the store with things that you can cut at home. All right, I have just a little bit of greens going on here. Now I think maybe I'll take my brown materials and put them in. Oh, did you see what I just did? Let me see if I can show you. I took, you know, I have this wire on here. I just bent it in half so that when I stick it in here, it'll stand up and it won't come out easily. So I'm just gonna put a few of these placements, and I'm standing them up rather than laying them over, because I think it's gonna make it a little more interesting. White pine cones in here too. So I think these are kind of cool. Go on. All right. And you need to stand up. All right, and then I had the teasel. And you know, this teasel, I cut this out of the ditch, and it has the meanest, pokiest thorns on it. So I'm gonna real quick slip on my garden gloves to handle it. It has a really neat shape and a really just lovely texture, but it's completely dry at this point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these in thirds. All right, I'll explain that. There's gonna be a third dark brown here, a third dark brown here, and a third dark brown here, and then I'm going to put my peaches in between those. Okay. Oh, hi. So I can go in deep. well. Trying to get this in between those grapevine pieces. I might have gotten a little too tight with my grapevine wreaths that I made. Okay. All right. Okay, come on. And now this, I might just put in a group. Oh, those teasels keep hooking on my gloves. I think I can take those off now. Of course, then they'll probably hook on my flesh. Okay, so I'm gonna move this right out of the way. And you can see what I kind of have going on here. I still want that to stand up straight. Okay, now I can just put my flowers in clusters around it, in between it. So I'll start out with these fabulous Free Spirit roses. And the first placement is going to be a depth placement. It's going to go right in here. All right. It should be lower than that. And then we'll do a little bit taller, more vertical placement up here. And then a piece towards the center that will be sort of backward motion here. Okay. And I'm going to leave this other one until I decide where I need it. So now I'll start with Gerber daisies over here. All right. I have this great big fabulous one that I want to have right up front and center at the top. And then I want a depth placement. You know, we wire Gerber daisies at the flower shop because when we bring them in, they're just kind of floppy because they're dry stored. So I had to cut that wire off. Once they, you know, soak up water, they don't usually need to be wired, but they receive some really fast handling at the shop, so sometimes it's better to leave them wired. Okay. So this one I'm going to place over here on this side, and I'll be just a little bit taller than the last one that was in. I want that to stand up. Ah, there. Okay. Okay, then I just have this spot right here between these two dried things that I need to fill. And I have these gorgeous lilies that will do just the trick. So I'll start with a low placement again. Let's see. I think I'll put this one. Oh, did you see that? I cut between these so that this still has a stem and this still has a stem. I might not need a lot of this, but just in case, I have it. And And this is going to go right in here between these. And it's going to be kind of low. Okay. And then I'll take this one and let it kind of float over the edge a little bit. Like that. And then I'll have one more. I want one more. Let me see. One more up a little higher, I guess. There. Okay, so I can see now that my brown cone area is a little bit heavier and stronger than my buttonweed. I can add a little more buttonweed to this if I want, and that might fix it. Or I can add that other rose, but I might want to use that other rose for another project. I might want to keep it for a little bud vase to match this maybe. So I'll tuck this in and see if this does the trick. And maybe a couple more pieces of my my teasel. Those cones are very, they make quite a statement there. All right. And then we'll see. Maybe it didn't balance it. But I also have some I have a little bit of sedum here that I could tuck in if I wanted that to be heavier. Maybe I should just put that other rose in and call it good. I kind of like it like this. It's a little, ups and downs and back and forths, and I think it's kind of fun. It's not your usual, symmetrical centerpiece. So we'll just put this one in here, and then a piece or two of my lemon basil over here to balance the lemon basil on that side. And I think it'll be done. See if I can tuck this in between. Yeah, I think this will do it. So just start, divide it into thirds, start with your texture, and then add the flowers, and you've got it. And this is a centerpiece for the neighbor in a ceramic pot. Thanks for watching.